In this video, I will test the speed or try a new tank in Dusty Trip Warbringer. To get Warbringer from car raffle, must spin and land into the OP chest slot, then later the target will definitely land into the Warbringer slot. The chance is 1% and for OP chests, the chance is 8%. It seems like it's hard to get a Warbringer tank from the car raffle because the chance is too small to get it. It looks like this Warbringer tank is based on the M1 Abram tank because this tank is made from the United States. It's time to see the tank. Wow, so many diesel cans near the Warbringer tank spawn. Looks like Warbringer tank in Dusty Trip using diesel fuel. If usually the V8 engine that gets from the landmark 15,000 meters uses diesel fuel, the total cans of diesel I counted that were from Warbringer was 13. It looks like this tank doesn't need an engine and radiator attached because it's pre-built like an airplane or helicopter in Dusty Trip. I found a hatch door on top of the tank and I couldn't get in. I pressed the vehicle enter button at the hatch door and it didn't work. But the logic is why the tank in Dusty Trip has to enter in front of the tank and there is no hatch door too. It looks like I'm already in a tank and why the tanks in Dusty Trip doesn't have an interior. If the vehicle does not have an interior, it will definitely use a third-person camera. The pointing camera follows the direction of the tank cannon. If you try to shoot, the tank will definitely get knocked back. This is the first land vehicle with weapons in Dusty Trip. But the first vehicle to have weapons in Dusty Trip was the military helicopter, not a tank or rocket sleigh. I started to fill diesel to the tank to full for test consumption. Capacity of 60 liters should be up to 300 liters, logic, because real-world tank vehicles have an average fuel capacity of 300 or 500 liters. The diesel is now full from the tank and the remaining available diesel cans are 6, and the yield of diesel cans that I filled from the tank was 8. It looks like this tank doesn't have brakes because I tried to push it and it moved. I used an object that is a diesel can and it turns out that the tank moves lightly, very logic, because tank's weight in the real world is more than 10 tons. It's time for the Warbringer tank speed test on the Dusty Trip. It turns out that on top of the rear tank, there is an alternative vehicle door. The result of Warbringer acceleration from 0 to 100 meters is 11 seconds. Let's see what Warbringer's actual top speed is by using a stopwatch. The actual top speed that I calculated from 0 to 100 meters and 10 seconds is 35 kilometers per hour. It looks like the Warbringer tank in Dusty Trip is very slow, but there is the strongest weapon on the tank, which is the cannon. We see how much diesel consumption is used from the tank trip to 5,000 meters. Sorry, I forgot to turn off the tank engine first. The tank retreated on its own. I wonder why this tank doesn't have brakes. I know how to do it. Enter the tank first and then press the brake when the engine tank is not started. Problem solved. The result of diesel fuel used from 60 to 54.9 liters is 5.1 liters. It seems that this Warbringer tank consumption is overused because the tank is too slow and consumes a lot of diesel fuel consumption from a distance of 5,000 meters. That's why these diesel cans are too many from Warbringer tank spawn. Let's see how strong this tank cannon is against the enemy. One shot equals instant kill. The boss trucker dies instantly from Warbringer tank fire. Buff Mutant was also shot once and died. Was hit by the explosion and flew away. It looks like this tank has splash damage because it can eradicate a swarm of enemies, which is the mutant. Does this tank have bulletproof from turret attacks? First, I'll steal items from Dan's shop, and then when I cross the red line, I'll enter the tank. Unfortunately, this Warbringer tank doesn't have bulletproof because my health was damaged by the turret attack. That's why my head is visible from the top of the tank, and the turret will definitely aim at my head. And I died. The bulletproof tank test was a failure, as the turret could aim at the player's head, but you can escape the tank before the Hitler bar runs out. By way of recommendations to play with friends, you can transport tanks from using air vehicles by using a rope gun, because it has a powerful cannon. But with the help of air vehicle transportation using the rope gun, it will definitely be fast to Ghost Town, so that this tank can facilitate clear the Ghost Town by using cannon fire. 10 minutes later, already arrived at the Ghost Town place by using carrying the tank quickly, which is an aerial vehicle. It's time to remove the rope first from the object I'm shooting at, and trying to tank fight Ghost Town, which is filled with cowboy mutants. There is a rare bug, and why the cowboy mutant is levitating. Was close, and I aimed at the cowboy mutant and fired. Oh no, cowboy mutant is near, and I'm going to shoot close range safely. The splash damage is rather good, and can hit a bunch of cowboy mutants. Flew immediately after being shot. Someone successfully broke through the tanks from the cannon attack. I will shake off the cowboy mutant from the top of the tank. Above my head, I took no damage from cowboy mutant's attack from the top of the tank. Shake off is done, and it's time to shoot. It's now the last strike. It looks like clear the Ghost Town is finished. This is what happens when shooting Warbringer cannon at very close range. The player is shot by a cannon tank and dies because this tank shot has friendly fire, and be careful if you shoot the tank at close range. My opinion is that this Warbringer tank is not worth using for solo players, because this tank vehicle is very slow and it can take more than 30 minutes to reach the ghost town. If your friends have fast air vehicles, such as UFO or planes, you can definitely transport tanks quickly to the ghost town. I tested the tank against the boss, then the boss died immediately with a one-time Warbringer tank shot. Just like Rocket Sleigh, if a gift bomb is dropped from riding, the boss will die instantly from the gift bomb attack. But what's worse is that the Warbringer tank is almost bulletproof. Because I tried from Dan Sharp turret attack, my health took damage from inside the tank that I entered. Do you think this Warbringer is worth it or not? Comment on my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos, and see you soon.